Hello and welcome to Orbiting Brick. And today's video, first of all, I'm sorry it's been delayed for 2 weeks, but second of all, at least it's finally done. Well, at least part 1 of it is done. This video will consist of 2 parts. This is the first one, and it will detail some of the initial construction for the mission that will take place in the second video. And so what we're going to be doing is assembling a craft on orbit. And we're starting off launching what will become the transfer stage for the craft. And you might say, so that means this craft will be going interplanetary, correct? But no, it won't. Again, you'll see more of the, well, I guess in the second video you'll see its destination. I guess there's gonna be some hints at that throughout this video, and, well, there'll be ways of knowing. But yeah, this rocket, I'm probably being drowned out by the sound of, I believe, 6 SRBs. And yeah, it has to be a fairly powerful rocket for a fairly dense payload. It's again a transfer stage, a bunch of liquid fuel tanks bolted together with asparagus staging, and using a Wolfhound engine. But yeah, we're going to be launching a fairly large craft that will be transferred by this, so yeah, large transfer stage is required. There go the SRBs. And now, I just want to quickly comment on the interesting paint scheme I went with here. Decided to go for something well, I've actually kind of done stuff like this before, but yeah, white, blue, and black. I thought it looked pretty nice. But yeah, we're now flying the second stage, which will get us into orbit. And this is a general tip for assembling anything on orbit in Kerbal Space Program. Just whatever is the heaviest, just have that be the core, and just whatever is the least willing to be maneuvered, keep that as the stationary object to which everything else will connect to. So yeah, this will just remain essentially static whilst everything docks to it. It will not be the active participant in any of the dockings. Speaking of which, here is the second module to be launched up. Decided to go for a catamaran style launch vehicle, and yeah, you've already seen one launch in this video so far, so let's skip ahead. And so, we're currently performing the maneuvers for our rendezvous. I have done a tutorial on how to rendezvous, and I still think there's nothing else I can add to that. And now, as something I'm going to say with the modules that are being docked, put as much RCS as, well, actually, first of all, put as much RCS as you think is reasonable, and then add more. Because, yeah, there's a bunch of multiple tanks and RCS thrusters that will be detached in the final form of the craft. But just, yeah, it's never fun trying to dock a craft that just doesn't have the control authority for the maneuvers you're trying to do. So I got the 2 large multiple tanks at the front on the docking port that will be detached, a bunch of RCS thrusters connected to them. And that means that we can perform just one of my favorite maneuvers to do for a module that just has a docking port on one end. That is different from the docking port on the other end. Where what we're going to do, right now the docking port we need is connected to the transfer stage. So we'll undock and then spin around. So once the craft is undocked from the transfer stage, and we can then rotate it so that it's facing the target docking port. And after doing that, we're able to successfully dock with the target craft, which is again remaining passive during the docking, as it has limited control authority. And that's something I didn't really take into consideration whilst doing this docking, was that this docking port from Bluedog Design Bureau has a very specific orientation it needs to dock at. You see those, yes, that set of grey, red, and then grey, I guess, wires, and also just other connectors. Well, yeah, those need to align on both docking ports. Yeah, did it do some roll maneuvers there? So yeah, it's slightly complicated docking, but again, we have ample mod propellant, so that means that we're finally able to dock properly. Oh, almost. And we're slightly drifting away here, but once I just push the craft forwards, we can dock. And now we're immediately on to the next launch. Now this rocket will be familiar to you if you've seen one of my previous videos. I believe it was the Mun Rover one, well, Saran Rover one. Where it's essentially that launch vehicle minus the two liquid fuel cores, and with the SRBs, I believe, actually, did I change the SRBs? I don't think I did. We decided to repurpose that launch vehicle since I actually liked how it looked. But yeah, this is launching yet another module that, well, it's very maneuverable. And I guess, well, it really won't be considered a module, but I guess some tip I have here is that just modules that are less integral to the function of the craft can be launched later on, and you should again keep the order in mind for your launches. Now, quickly distracting from that, yeah, I messed up the staging horrendously, but somehow it survived. But yeah, just to keep an order in mind for the launches you're going to do when assembling something in multiple launches, since that'll determine, for example, the power generation that will be available on the craft during each phase of construction. Which again, that's also something to keep in mind. Each module has to operate on its own for a bit before docking, so just don't forget solar panels on something that won't need solar panels in the final design. And you probably could tell what the mission objective is based on just the design of this vehicle alone. But yeah, I won't comment further on that. You can figure that out for yourself. But now we do our close approach with the core of the growing craft. I'm still not trying to refer to it. It's not a station since it's not stationary. So I guess yeah, as a craft, general term. But yeah, we can now, again, this module is very maneuverable, so we can dock it to the forward docking port of the craft. And to speed this up a bit, yeah, this is doing some RCS flying. Also, I'm just going to say, it's just, so every so often, this menu keeps popping up on screen. That's the menu of Kerbal Funds, which for some reason decided that menu should come up whenever you press the L key. L was one of the keys used for RCS translation. So, anytime I'm trying to dock, I'm of course using the translation controls, and that stupid menu keeps popping up, and like, I don't want to uninstall the mod since it's actually useful for stuff, but I can't rebind it to anything, so if anybody knows how to prevent that from happening, please do say in the comments. Anyways, we can dock. And now, I believe that the craft is now ready for crew, which in my recommendation, I say you should launch last, especially if you have life support mods, since that means your life support will be at the highest amount possible for when you actually depart on your journey. Actually, you can see I'm fiddling around with the docking ports to get them to align. But yes, the crew launch. I just realized I could have made like an RGB joke, but no, I didn't, since I didn't have a. Well, yeah, I used yellow instead of green. I should have done that. Yeah, I only now just realized, yeah, the first craft was blue, now this one's red. Like this. I do. Look, it's late, it's fairly. It's 8 PM, it's getting late, I'm not sure if what I'm saying is coherent anymore. But yeah, what I'm saying is distracting from the nice sight on screen. Alright, just a nice shot of the craft. I guess, well, yeah, what would be eclipsing? Just passing in front of Soon in the sky. I didn't mention this earlier, but I assume it would have been obvious. I'm using the New Horizons Smile Pack. But yeah, this craft is going to ferry 6 cargoes up to the craft. I should have came up with a different term for it. Main ship, mothership. But yeah. And there's going to be some interesting quirks how it does that, which you will see in the second video of the actual journey. I'm actually using the F1 analog from Stock, which has been remodeled by Restock Plus. Actually, no, it's just by Restock. But yeah, decided to try something different, and this is the Stock J2 equivalent, again remodeled by Restock. And you can see the interesting capsule. It's actually from Centauri's, recolored to be more US looking. But yeah, we're now burning to get in orbit, and so hopefully we'll be able to get a rendezvous with the mothership. But now we can detach the capsule and see that it has a interesting service module. It has its own solar panels on it. You might be wondering why there are 2 sets of solar panels. But you'll have to see why I made that choice in the final video. But yeah, we now dock after a fairly uninteresting set of maneuvers. Though, I didn't follow my own rules, and for running low on mob propellant, I actually had to siphon some from the Kerbal UVA packs. If you have Kerbalism, you can't just get infinite mob propellant by just repeatedly going on UVA. So, but what you can do is, for a Kerbal that has not gone on UVA yet, get them on UVA, have them re-enter the craft. The mob propellant will be taken from their UVA pack and added onto the craft. Just random tip. But yeah, once we're docked, we can actually do a tour of the spacecraft. If like this, yeah, it speaks for itself. Most of this is stock like space station parts, Redux parts. I said parts far too much in that sentence. But yeah, with the craft now assembled, I guess you'll have to wait until the next video to see where it heads off to. I guess for now you can enjoy the rest of this tour. You can see an airlock, which will come important in the mission, as well as a cupola module on this side, which will actually be surprisingly not useful during the mission. have to admit, when I was building this craft, there was a snack I tried to go for, but I don't really think I pulled it off. Now we can head down the habitation modules, and I believe we'll be pushing at the end of here, where we have finally reached the end of the habitation module. And so yeah, I guess you'll just have to wait and see until the next video for where this craft will go. Yeah, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for waiting 2 weeks for this video to come out. And yeah, please like and subscribe, and goodbye!